Well, hello there. Welcome to our Friday demo. Glad you could join me. Hope you had a wonderful week. And we're getting ready to do a fun acrylic paint pour. I'm doing something a little bit different than I normally do. We're going to be doing a split cup pour. And I've got my spinner set up, but I'm not going to be spinning this painting out. I'm just going to be using my spinner just to help me kind of manipulate the paint as I kind of pour out my split cup. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I've got a pretty interesting color palette, very simple, but I'm excited about it. So let's go ahead and get going and welcome everyone. Let's see who we've got here. So we've got Cinda is in the house, Carla is here, hey Pat, and LC is here too, awesome. And of course, Monique, wonderful to see you. And Judy's is here. Awesome, Judy. Great to see you. And let's see here. And Karen has joined us. Welcome, everybody. Glad you can be here with me live. And we're going to do hopefully a very cool painting. I'm kind of excited to give this a try. I don't really work with split cups a whole lot, especially multi-section split cups. I'm using a triple section split cup. This is just one you can buy at Michael's for very inexpensive. It's like $5 or so. I've used this, several times before. It works really good. It's kind of a pain in the butt to clean it, but other than that, it's a good split cup. I don't like to go past maybe 3 or 4 sections. It just gets a little ridiculous at that point if you have like 5 or 6. Plus, it's very hard to layer your paints in there, and cleaning that out would be a nightmare. So we're going to flip the camera and take a look at our color palette, and then we'll see what we can create with our split cup. So let me flip the camera here, and we'll walk over. I'll walk you through the colors I'll be using. So here we go. And here we go. So we've got this is a monochromatic color scheme. Basically, it's one color plus white and black, which don't really count as colors. Actually, it's kind of I've got a little bit extra, but it's basically monochromatic. So over here, I've got a big cup of black. This is just the easy formula with all these colors, except this one here is a cloud mixture. I'll talk about that in a minute. But just the easy formula, 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and then just enough water to get to the number 2 consistency for all of these colors. So going with just the standard number 2 consistency. So black will be one of my colors plus my base coat. This right here is a Payne's Gray, very close to black. It's not as dark as black, like a dark grayish blue color. I wanted to have 2 darks, and then I have 2 mid-value colors, and I have 2 very high value, light value colors right here. So 2 darks, 2 mids, and 2 lights is what I'm going with my values. And you might have guessed I have a 3-section cup, so my darks will be in one section, my mid values will be in one section, and my lights will be in one section too. So I've got the greens. Green is the color I'm working with primarily. A little bit of the Payne's Gray, but I'm counting that as kind of on the black side. So right here we've got this kind of interesting, very pretty oceany green color, and that I created with ocean green from Master's Touch and some green gray from Liquitex Basics, just to get it a little more neutralized, not so bright as just the regular tube color is. And so that's a very pretty color. Right here we have got another Master's Touch color. This is the Pearlized Dark Green, which is a gorgeous green color, metallic color, but it's a little too dark for what I wanted, so I added a little bit of metallic white, which lightened it up a little bit and got it a little bit closer in value to our other oceany green. So those are my 2 mid-value colors. And then we've got the cloud mix from last week. This is the leftover 4-part cloud mix from last week, and I'll be using that. And I've got some white, which is just Artist Loft white, and some silver in here, just some regular old Artist Loft silver, just to get a little bit darker shade of white. So this is kind of like an ivory, very, very light gray, but it is a little bit different than our cloud formula. So just wanted a little difference, a little variation there in colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to layer in our cup our blacks or our darks in one, our probably whites in another one, maybe the side here, and then our colors or our mid values will go in the center. Now this particular cup, I have measured it, so the left and right section can hold 4 ounces of paint, and then the middle section holds 5 ounces of paint. So there's a little bit more in the middle section. So just to be aware of that if you use this cup. But I've also marked where a 10 ounces would be. So I took 10 ounces of water, which is what I need for a 16 by 20, which is what we're working on. So I took 10 ounces of water in a measuring cup and then divided it up equally between my 3 sections here, drew a line so I can kind of guesstimate or see kind of where I am with my paint. So we need about 10 ounces. A little bit more, a little bit less is fine, but somewhere around there is what we need. So I like to go ahead and mark up my cup. It's with a Sharpie, so it will stay on there even after we wash out the paint. So that is it. That's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me move my paints. And what I'm going to do with my spinner, again, I'm not going to spin this painting out. I have just put my canvas on the spinner just so I can help turn my canvas and manipulate my cup as I'm pouring out my split cup. Instead of moving my hand around, I'm just going to move my canvas around. So we'll see how that works, and we'll get going here. So first of all, let's layer our cup and get that accomplished first. So what I'm going to do, I'll layer probably the right side here. I'm just going to go alternate between my black and my Payne's gray. And the nice thing about a split cup is you can separate your colors or you could separate your values, so you can really keep them kind of a little bit more distinct on your canvas. So I'm just going to pour in a little bit of black, and I'm not too worried about layering like right down on the ends or anything. So because there's only going to be 2 colors in here. So I'm just going to pouring it in, alternating. I just don't want to get paint in the other sections. So I've got about maybe 3 layers of each color. And I can see my line through the plastic there, and so that's right at my 10-ounce mark. So let's go ahead and turn and layer up our greens next. Normally I work with a 2-section split cup, which I like to do a lot. And I do the same type of thing. I'll put the darks in one side, the lights in the other side, and you get some very cool paintings that way. So one more layer and we'll have our, so a little bit more green, which is fine. That's kind of the main color of the painting. So now let's go ahead and layer our whites here. So here's the cloud mix, the 4-part cloud mixture, and then this is the white and silver color. And I'm not exactly sure if we're going to get real cloudy effects or not. We'll find out. I just wanted to try it and see what we get with this. Almost there. There we go. So we've got all of our paint mixed up, maybe a little bit more white. That's okay. You just have to get approximate. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to set that to the side, and let's go ahead and put our base coat on. So just black. So I'm going to just spread out my black, and this spinner helps with spreading a base coat around. Makes it a little bit more fun. So just a thin layer. I'm not anticipating having any negative space, but just in case, we have, black in our cup, so we could keep a little negative space if it happens or if it looks good. I'm not anticipating that, but we'll see what we get. So just finishing this up. Probably torch this just a tiny bit to get rid of some air bubbles. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Pretty even. Not perfectly even, but that's fine. So, good enough. And let's give it a little torch. Here we go. I'm going to flip the camera over and give you a little better view of the pour as I empty out the split cup here. So here we go. So I got my cup is all layered up. I'm going to just aim for the center here and let's see what we get. Ooh. Little rocky start, but that's okay. So I'm just trying to go for a thin stream. And then as I pour, I'm just going to keep my cup right where it is and spin my canvas on my spinner a bit. And pour out a little more and maybe spin back. Just to change the design somewhat. And this is a lot easier than trying to turn your wrist while you're doing this. Kind of go back again. Go the other way a little bit. So we're getting close to the end of the cup here. All right, I'm going to just tilt it back slightly, grab my little drip, pull it away. It looks pretty good, so pretty happy about that. So let's go back to the top view and we can kind of see what we've got. It's very symmetrical. So here we go. Now you could spin this out, you know, if you like what's happening and you have your setup this way, you could spin this out and you get a very symmetrical painting. Those I don't really love those. I've done them before. They're okay, but I like to have the composition a little bit more random. So I'm going to be just tilting this like I normally would. But if you want to give this a try, feel free to spin them out and see what you get. I'm going to lift it up and we're just going to do the tilting process like I would normally do. And let's get going. So we're going to change the design here. It's not going to be very symmetrical. We're going to change that around. I find those, it's just more interesting to me. So I'm just spreading out the paint puddle first. And there we go. I'm just looking to see where I want to tilt off of first. We do have some interesting, fun, cloudy effects going on. I think I'm going to tilt off of this corner first because I want to keep a lot of green in here. So this has a lot of the white and the black. So I'm going to tilt off of this first, then probably up here next. So let's try that. I just move my paint down there, pull it over just a little bit more. Go to the next one. Make sure to watch those thumbs. Keep those tucked in. Otherwise you'll get thumb drips in your painting. So far, so good. Let's go down to, I think I'll go to this corner next. All right, and final corner, we're getting some kind of cells popping up down in the black section there. All right, there we go. So the white really kind of took over a little bit. Unexpected. But I'm going to just see if there's anything else I want to do. I don't like this white, this big white corner right here. So I'm going to tilt this off, I think. And that's also going to move the center down here, which I think would be a better compositional move, and I don't love these like pearly cells that are kind of popping up. So let's go and tilt that off. All right, so let me just move in the paint a little bit. I'll take another look. Yeah, I like that more. I'm gonna just kind of tilt back this way a little bit. Okay, so let's see what we got. Yeah, I kind of like this painting. It's a very unique one. We've got some very interesting shapes kind of in the center of interest. And it turned into a real cloudy painting. But I kind of like the cloudy effect. It's almost like a glowing effect, especially in the center. Rather spectral, I think. So we could continue to adjust things a little bit. I kind of like it the way it is. Kind of this corner is not the greatest. But we have four pretty different corners, which I like. I think the center of interest is in a good spot. I really like this black shape, very interesting and unique. And then we have a lot of detail right in this white center of interest. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and you'll be able to see, hopefully you'll be able to see the difference between the cloud white and then that white and silver mixture. It created a lot of very cool, subtle detail in there. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So there's the bottom there, which I kind of like, but then as I pull it up, you can see, oh, I know it's a little blurry maybe, but all of the very subtle details between those different whites. It's very cool. And then here's that upper left corner, and then down at kind of the bottom left corner. It's a pretty interesting painting. I was surprised that the white did what it did. But we got a lot of white, but I kind of like it. So all right, any questions you might have? I'm going to check out the comments here. I'll flip on back and see if you have any questions. It's a fun one. So I haven't done a triple split cup with a cloud mix before, so I didn't really know what was going to happen. Now we know the cloud really likes to take over, but it's still, you never know. You don't know until you try it. So any questions you have, let me know. I'm going to just check back there. Let's see. All right, no questions. All right, that's fine. Let's see. And Cinda is saying she's got a hard time with her base coat. Well, I just used the same exact paint for the base coat as the other colors. So there's nothing really different with the base coat. And then just spread it on there with a knife or with whatever you want. And or just practice a little bit more. Hopefully it won't be an issue for you. Okay, well, I guess that is it for this one. Turned out pretty cool. We got a couple little cells popping up, but those kind of cloudy cells. So we'll see what happens. Those will kind of continue to develop perhaps over the next 15 minutes. But this is a fun one. So hope you have a fantastic weekend and do some painting. And until next time, I will see you later. So take care, everyone. I will talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.